Welcome, everybody, to Drive Through Sports with Adam and Paul. Today is Thursday, August the 7th, 2020. Adam Freeman here coming to you from Atlanta, Georgia. Paul Brees is in Brentwood, Tennessee, 4 days in to his first week back of pre-planning. Virtual or whatever it is. I don't know what you're doing. I think you went in today a little bit. And, I had an interesting day as well, but I know you got some stuff going on at your house. Fill us all in on what's up there.
Oh, not just stuff, buddy. Construction.
So we're full on construction mode.
This has been a 10-year in waiting kind of deal, where we've kind of, we bought at the right time, and but we've never properly fixed it up like we want to, and somehow COVID season is the right time to get it done.
Yes.
So Jose and the boys are been working nonstop. I mean, those guys, the heat doesn't get to them.
No.
I'd be melting.
Yeah. I mean, they're just, guys that are used to working. That's the thing about it. When you're used to working outside,
yeah,
you get acclimated to it. And it's just what you do. Your body acclimatizes and goes through you sweat more. You sweat more often. You sweat sooner. So these guys, it's their livelihood, and they know how to take care of themselves. So, and they work probably 12, 14-hour days when they're there. So you just having the house painted, or you have anything else done?
Well, front door is getting changed. There's rot that was on some wood, and they're fixing that up, and it's a whole 9 yards for us. I mean, some people have done construction on their house that, this is huge. It's like buying a new car, but it's really a used car. It's just like, hey, we're doing construction on the house. It's not really a big deal to some people, but to us it is.
Yeah. So, oh yeah. Yeah, I know. I hear you. I hear you. There's stuff that you just kind of let go. Then all of a sudden you realize, oh man, I got to replace this and this and this. Good thing about it is, Brees, is you don't have a paintbrush in your hand.
That's 100% correct.
Yes.
What?
Yes.
Yeah.
And that was sort of the thing when we've been in our house since 2014, and it was brand new when we got it. And one of the main things in our other house, we painted every room. I put in hardwood floors. I tiled, around the fireplace. I put in cabinets. I put in built-ins. I put in crown molding. We did wallpaper. We took the wallpaper off. We painted over it. We did everything. It was a blank slate when we got it. And when we moved, I was like, look, I'm not buying another paintbrush, another roller, set of rollers, pans. I'm not painting anything. Well, that lasted about 5 months. And I ended up painting my garage, of all things. So I've painted the garage, but that's the only thing I've done since we moved into this house. Because when we got into the garage, it just had where they just painted over the edges of where they had, mudded the pieces of sheetrock together or whatever. And they didn't even put any like primer over it or anything. It was just kind of checkerboarded, so it looked kind of bad. So I painted that, but that's it. And hopefully it'll stay together before we have to do too much to it. We already are in agreement that we want to redo our master bathroom because we don't like the shower, we don't like the tub situation, and maybe put some tile in there and stuff like that. But like you said, you put it off, and finally glad that you guys are getting done some stuff that you wanted to get done.
Right.
And, big weekend, big sports weekend. Like, this is an August unlike any other, Paul. Think about what's going on. You got PGA Tour Championship this weekend. You got NHL playoffs. You got Major League Baseball. You got NBA, if anybody watches that anymore. But you got all these sports. You could literally watch sports. We went for so long without it. You could watch sports 14 hours a day now if you wanted to.
Yeah. Listen, it doesn't matter how bad or how you do not like hockey, how much you despise the game. You know, we were a big fan of the NBA bubble when it started because, you know, they were showing us something we've never seen before.
Yeah.
But big props to the NHL, man. Big props.
Oh yeah.
As bad as my Predators, your Predators possibly are playing, it is still a product that's out there that keeps you entertained. And they had 0 positive tests. Their bubble is working, and hopefully, you know, we talked about it. Maybe the NFL does something like that because we definitely need football.
Yeah, I think this society as a whole is desperate for football, and just some recent news came down the pike today, or actually yesterday, was a meeting with the advisory committee, and they did away with, you know, originally we're starting September 4th. We're still starting September 4th with high school football, but there was going to be the August 21st and 28th were going to be scrimmage dates. Well, they have eliminated those. There will be no scrimmages, but still starting September 4th. That's less than a month away. My daughter's high school has suspended football practices for this week because of several cases of COVID-19. I don't know if they're scheduled to resume on Monday. I don't know. There have been several, I think 9 high schools, 9 districts that have suspended football workouts and practices due to this increase in number of cases and positive cases among players and or coaches. So, I mean, and I just found out today that competition cheerleading got pushed all the way to winter. And,
oh no!
Yeah,
Stop the presses.
I know. It's bad. It's bad news for these kids.
I don't want to let you. I am the athletic director for the national championship competition squad, middle school, large division, 2019, Orlando, Florida. If you pay your entry fee, you're a winner. But we won the national championship, and we're looking for back-to-back if we can get a shot at it.
Well, it may have to wait till January. And I have it on pretty good authority that high school basketball will be pushed to January. Because that's just I've got sources as well that I lean on that will, again, not be revealed on this show.
Gotcha.
However, they are extremely, extremely dependable, and they have told me that everything that they're reading the tea leaves is telling them that it's going to be a January start for high school basketball in Georgia. It could be different other places, but that's what it's going to be. And recently, since our last show, there have been 11 states that have come out and postponed football. California was the first one that postponed it to February the 14th as the first practice date. There's been 10 other states since then. Now, here's the interesting part. None of those states are huge high school football states, if you get my meaning. It's not like Texas is doing it, Florida, Alabama, Georgia, okay? None of those states are willing to go there. So I don't know if this means anything, or if it's just low, you know, just an isolated thing. I don't know that it'll trickle down to us, but I can tell you this, and I mentioned this before, our state association is not going to make a decision. They're not going to cancel football. They're going to leave it up to the superintendents to do that. So we're still waiting. We're still preparing and practicing like we're going to play a game September 4th. And Hoya Nation Sports Broadcasting is preparing to broadcast that game if and when it arises. So if we play, we'll be on the mic and we'll be bringing it to you.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Let's get into golf.
Let's go more golf stuff. Now, I don't know if you got a chance to watch any of the golf today. Dustin Johnson got off to a hot start. He was 4 under after 8 holes, and I think that's where he finished. He finished at 4 under. The big story, though, is our second hot take. Everybody knows Dechambeau's a beast. I think his driving average is like 325-yard average. Snapped his driver. Did you see this, Paul?
I sure did.
Elaborate on it a little bit for us.
Obviously, a tee off, felt like, he only pulls his driver out when he feels like, you know, he's got a little wiggle room left and right, because obviously, you know, he's just started to feel comfortable with it, hitting it that long. But where it goes is anybody's guess. So he felt comfortable on this hole, and he hit it okay. I mean, it ended up in some high, thick stuff, more like a Adam Freeman type, Woodland Hills type drive. But here's the funny thing. Bryson goes down to pick up his tee. A little incredible Hulk pressure on the driver, and snap goes the head of the driver.
Right there on the tee box.
Now, the greatest part was not that he kind of looked around. It was the reaction of Ricky Fowler behind him was like, what in the world just happened? I mean, it's just not I don't know.
Not something you see. It's not something you see that, you know,
then it became a big ruling, you know, is there a way that he can go get another club? You know, a buddy of mine called me and said, who's going to run to his car and grab another driver?
I think he's got guys for that.
He's got guys for sure.
He's got guys for that are on hand with an extra driver, an extra wedge.
Yeah.
If he needs it around the green, for sure.
I mean, he ended up 2 under. Well, currently 2 under. You know, obviously they're playing out in California, so a little sun still to remain, but he's 2 under, and you know, a birdie here or there, he put himself, you know, right back in it as he got 2 holes left. So, but Jason Day, your current leader, 5 under, 65.
Yeah, shot a 65 coming out. And what's interesting too about the PGA Championship this weekend, they're not playing it at, like, you know, Pebble Beach or, you know, Bethpage Black or something. This is a municipal course. You and I could fly out to San Francisco and play 18 holes on this deal. Now, can you imagine that? That would be cool. You know, like, oh man, this is the tee box where Dechambeau snapped his driver, you know, head off. So I was watching the event today, and they said you can play in the weekdays at that course for $64.
Wow.
78 on the weekends.
That's pretty good.
And it's not like it's one of these courses that doesn't get played. You know what I'm saying? Like, it gets used. I think they said there were over 52,000 tee times, 52,000 rounds of golf played on that course in the last year. And that was even with them sort of scaling back due to COVID back in the spring. So this course gets used a lot and gets played a lot. So I just think it's interesting that a municipal course is hosting, you know, major championship. I played a municipal course yesterday, Marietta City Club, and I mean, I can't imagine a bunch of pros on that course. They would just eat it up, unlike what I did to it. But anyway, so golf, big, huge golf weekend this weekend, which gets us to our next hot take, and that's the ratings of sports since they have come back. I think everybody anticipated that, well, everybody just is in, you know, needs sports, wants sports so bad that, I mean, everybody's just going to be watching it, right? And just record numbers. Well, what we're finding is the sports that people are watching, the main one is golf. Golf is getting just the lion's share of the ratings all across the board. Better than Major League Baseball, better than hockey, better than basketball. And I don't know if it's, well, I have an idea of why it is, but I think a lot of it is the fact that it's pretty much the same as it was before. It's just guys playing golf. You know, I mean, the fans at a golf match, they're not as huge of a part of it as, say, Major League Baseball, hockey, basketball. Would you agree with that?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean,
you know, they did come out with some ratings for baseball, which have been, you know, pleasantly surprising for the MLB. I want you to see if you can guess, Adam, the current major league team with the worst ratings as compared to 2019 at this current state of the season?
Houston Astros.
Actually, they are actually the number one in highest.
Well,
So
I refuse to watch.
Yeah. They probably have a lot of people in Houston watching them. But
Yeah.
how about those Seattle Mariners? They got things going on in Seattle. Not a lot of baseball watching time. Down
Wow.
29%
Wow.
from
Well,
so
it doesn't help them that they have a really poor product up there. They really do. I mean, they haven't been good in about 10 years.
Yeah, for sure.
And with all the unrest going on up there, you know, it's crazy. It's crazy. But yeah, and I think basketball has really hurt itself. You know, with the casual fan, it's like the basketball is actually okay, but the way that it's set up, it's only 8 games, and I think they're maybe hoping that people will come back once the playoffs start. I don't know if that's necessarily true. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. It's just, to me, just watching it, it looks like a scrimmage, and it's just not exciting to watch. And this is another thing too, which everyone has the right to protest and all that sort of stuff, and that's constitutional. But I think the issue that I run into with it is you're doing it at your job while you're getting paid to do a job. If we were to do something like that at our job while we're on the clock, that'd be it for us. It'd be over. So I think a lot of people are disenfranchised with that part of it, and that may be why that's having an effect on their ratings. Well, that gets us to sort of our next topic. Today's the day, Brees.
Today was the day.
Put up or shut up. What are you going to do, NFL player? You gonna play, or you gonna opt out? Today was the day where they had to decide. Now, do you know of anybody that has opted back in?
I did not see anybody that said, "Hey, just kidding."
Yeah.
No, I was just kidding. I really do like money. I need to come back. But I do know that I think there was either 66 to 70 guys on the list. And hey, let's give it up for the Atlanta Falcons, guys. Nobody wanted to opt out.
They're all in, they're all in, baby.
Yeah.
They're all in. They're all part of that. They're all part of that brotherhood.
There we go.
Falcons. That Dan Quinn's got going.
Yeah. No, Titans only had one guy, but I think he was like a practice player, so no love lost.
Maybe Vic Beasley just opted out and didn't tell anybody.
Well, listen, Vic Beasley's in trouble, buddy. I
sent you that link.
He already owes the Titans $500,000 already. But here's the problem. The stinking Titans gave him a $6 million signing bonus, and he's already at the bank cashing that thing in. I know.
I mean, I hate to say I told you so.
Yeah, you gave us fair warning.
I told you.
I tried to call John Robinson, the GM. He was busy at the time. He was playing online poker, WSOP online poker series. Wouldn't take my call, but man, I wish I could have reached out to him and said, "Big Beasley's not our guy."
He's not your guy. He's absolutely not your guy. He's a speed rusher with no power and no technique and no new moves.
And apparently no desire to play.
No desire to play. He's no motor, no motivation.
Yeah.
So
hey, there you go. 66 to 70 guys opting out. No takebacks now. This is it. NFL, we're done. We're moving on. Let's give a round of applause for the Patriots, who probably suffered the most, but will benefit the greatest by the time this thing is over with. Tanking for Trevor. And you know what? A lot of read options for Cam will be called. And if he gets knocked out of the game, Jared Stidham will throw it to the other team. Patriots, Hey, the over-under, what do you got on wins? Over-under on Patriots wins this year?
8.
I'm going 5.
Really?
Sure.
Wow.
Belichick will figure
Wow.
it out. Hey, he figured out how to win a lot of Super Bowls. He'll figure a way to lose.
I guess that's true. If it's really the end game, that's really the end game. He'll figure it out. He'll start Billy Joe Hoyer, Brian Hoyer, or whatever his name
Brian
is.
Hoyer. That's
Billy
right.
Joe. He'll start Billy Joe Tolliver or Bobby Hebert. He'll bring him out of retirement.
Love me some Bobby Hebert.
All right, well, staying with our football vibe. Go to some college football. Big news yesterday. UConn. I guess they're in the Big East in football or American Conference. I don't know what they're in. All I know is what
I said exactly.
Yeah. All I know is they're not in Power 5. So it really doesn't matter. But them opting out of the season, does that make the Big 5 conference? Does it give them pause? We already saw Louisville suspend some lesser sports because of a lot of positive tests, like volleyball, soccer. You're seeing these other non-revenue sports being sacrificed, and everybody's like, okay, we're not touching we are playing football. That's the vibe I get. I don't know. What do you think, man?
Well, the UConn coach, I mean, he basically said the risk isn't worth the reward. Well, if you're a Power 5 conference, the reward is greater than the risk.
Yeah.
And they're going to put all their chips in the center of the table, and they're going to make it a go. I don't really think they're looking at UConn as an example, to be fair. I think it would take someone else, a bigger name, to kind of open the eyes of, some of those bigger conferences to say, okay, wait a minute, do we really need this? Is this really worth it? But UConn, good for you taking a stance. We'll see you in 2021. Hopefully we get this thing going. But, Adam, football is like the bloodline, and we talked about it. It's a must. It's a must. Yeah. A lot of things in life are dependent on certain things, but a lot of people are looking at football as seeing, is COVID really that dangerous? I mean, people are still, they don't know. They're still trying to weigh. I mean, there's a lot of fear and a lot of I don't care. They're heavy on both sides. Yeah. Football is the one thing that can bring everybody together if they can make it happen.
Yeah. And I think that's why it's so important, I think, to get it going. Now, you can get it going safely. Can you do it safely? I think these other leagues have proven that, NHL's proven it. NBA's proven it. MLB is in the process of proving it. Now, football's different because you're traveling. Now they've limited, they've cut the schedule down. So there's not traveling. So you got ACC, SEC, Big 10, okay, Pac-12,
Big 12,
and Big 12. Okay, yeah. Those are your key dudes. Now you're like 60 teams or whatever, 65, 68 teams. Those guys drive the ship. Okay, they're piloting the vessel right now, and those commissioners, those conference commissioners, are going to have a lot of responsibility and a lot of say in terms of what goes on. Now, what do you make? Do you think that any athletes on any of these teams are going to put up enough of a stink to say, no, we're not playing, like these Pac-12 guys are?
I'm going to say this as easy as I can without hurting any. It's a kid show. Heavens no. Heavens no. These players, these SEC players, will not boycott because the big picture is the NFL. And if they don't play, they may not get that shot. Yeah. And there are people right behind them that are just as good, and they'll take their place immediately. Now, if you were saying this at an MTSU, a TSU, Yeah, maybe. But there's no way that a kid at Alabama is going to say, I'm going to sit this one out, Nick Saban. Thanks a lot. You know what he says? Next.
All right. Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. And a lot of with all the stuff going on in college athletics, and we'll save this for another time. That you want to demonize the NCAA. Not paying athletes. Making money off. Okay, look, a lot of it is not. I mean, that's not. They don't. It's the one and done rule is not an NCAA rule. Uh, Having to go to school for having to be 3 years out of high school before you can declare for the NFL draft. That's not an NCAA rule. That's an NFL rule. So you got to look to the professional leagues when it comes to, who's sort of, if you consider the players to be oppressed or whatever, look to the pro leagues. They're the ones that set the precedent. So anyway, that gets us to our human interest story. And I just decided to put this on there today because today was not good. Today was not good. You guys are planning on opening with kids, correct?
No, tomorrow is online.
Tomorrow is online with kids?
With kids, yeah.
You start on a Friday?
Well, the story behind it is, in a normal routine year, it's kind of a half day, and we kind of just let them go through the process and get them ready for Monday, so we don't have to spend as much time on Monday doing that whole introductory thing.
Introductory, lockers,
yeah,
blah blah, all that. Okay, lunch numbers and all that stuff. Okay, so Monday will be your first full day, but it will be virtual. Is that correct?
2 weeks. We got 2 weeks, reevaluate.
Oh, okay.
Based on the number of active cases.
Okay, I got you. Well, we were given a very vague, we're virtual until further notice. That's kind of our thing. And there's a phased process, phase 1, 2, 3. We would not go face to face until phase 3. Okay. And there's a minimum of 2 weeks in each of the phases. So you're looking at earliest 6 weeks before we get face to face, which would put us, well, heck, it would put us right after fall break, like the first week in October, probably. So just the way that I mean, you and I got into teaching for probably the same reasons. I got into it because I love sports and I loved athletic training, and I wanted to share what I knew about sports medicine with kids who might want to do the same thing. You love coaching. You enjoy being around sports and kids that can play sports, that are good and winning and playing games and teaching them, teaching them face to face and getting to know them. I mean, how many times, you go through your Facebook friends list that you have contact with, previous students. We talked about this on our program. We have relationships with former athletes, and now they've got kids of their own and all that sort of stuff. We've interviewed a couple of them on our show. That's what teaching is to me. Sharing what I know and building relationships with the kids that go beyond the classroom, that go beyond high school. I don't feel like I can do that teaching virtually. It now shifts and becomes all about the content. And it's like I was telling you this morning on the phone when I was driving in, I see like 2 people a day. I go in, I have to stay in my classroom. If I go up to check my mail, I have to put my mask on, go up there. There's nobody walking the hallways saying, "Hey, how you doing? How was your summer? How are your kid?" There's none of that. And that's what stinks about this. And I think the kids are feeling it too, because I've talked to several parents that I teach with that have kids that go to our school, and they're like, they want to be back so bad. And then you think, are they really going to learn anything virtually? I don't know. What's your thought on that? As a PE teacher, for you, it's got to be almost impossible. What the heck are you doing?
Yeah, you know what? It's kind of a mess, but obviously after 26, 27 years of this, you know, and some of these younger PE teachers have a hard time taking this to heart, but the big four is how I like to call them: math, science, social studies, language. They're the people that everything's focused on.
Yeah.
We're just there to supplement. Hey, and if they need any help, we're there to help them as well. So don't get too upset if people don't pay attention to you.
Yeah. In fact, you should probably embrace it.
100%.
See,
100%.
that's something that guys like you and I understand that they don't. They get offended by it, and we're just like, excellent. This is good.
Yeah.
Okay?
The teaching virtually thing is, you talk about the relationships. I mean, we get it to build those relationships, to get with the kids. And, it's like coaching. I mean, you build those relationships because you want them to play hard and for you.
Yeah.
And you can't do that with teaching. They don't want to learn from somebody behind a screen, in my opinion.
I don't think so either.
And it's just going to be difficult to not only engage, but to keep them motivated. To be honest with you, I have 3 kids of my own doing this. I don't know how they're going to stare at the screen for 6 hours, right? I mean,
yeah. And here's the thing: like, do they have like, hey, okay, Bryson's in what grade now?
6.
So his 6th grade. How many classes does he take a day?
Probably be 6.
Okay, so is it from 8 to 8:45? He's logged on with this teacher.
Right.
Is that how they're doing it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Pretty much.
Okay, that's how we're doing it. We have a block schedule, so we have 4 classes. So from 8 to 9:10, that's my first period class. That's my session with my first period class. That's 70 minutes. Then we have a 10-minute break, next block, 10-minute break, 30-minute lunch, last block. Then from 1:30 to 3:30 every day, we plan and we can, interact with students. We keep the chat line open so we could chat with them, like there's a chat option on there. That's how it's set up. I don't know. I mean, that means that every kid is staring at a computer. If you keep them the entire time in front of that computer, they're staring at that computer for 4 hours and 40 minutes every day of screen time. I don't know that that's healthy. I don't know that that's conducive to learning.
Well, mental health wise, Adam, I don't think it's very good because, you talked about going into your school and just running into a couple of people a day, kind of like the big office with just your little cubby area, and you just go in, clock in, clock out.
Yeah.
There's no quote unquote water cooler time.
Yeah.
I mean, I love getting with people, joking around, that keeps me motivated. That's why I like to come back and enjoy my job, is because the people, so and the students. But this week's been kind of a difficult pill to swallow. You just barely see them in small increments, and then then you got to go back on your Zoom.
Yeah, I mean, it's we typically, that week of pre-planning, I actually look forward to it because, hey, I get to see everybody, check on them. How you doing? How was your summer? Where'd you go? We have big meetings. We have big luncheons. We eat together. We meet together and cut up together, but we still get stuff done that we need to get done. And we have a big day that and today would have been the day. Today would have been the day. And it's when all the different grade levels come in at different times. So the freshmen, since they're new, they have the whole morning, and we have all this stuff that we have planned for them. And then the sophomores come from 1 to 2, juniors come from 2 to 3 to get parking and stuff. And then seniors come from 3 to 4. And I have kids roaming through my classroom, coming in to say, hey, and that's what we've been robbed of that little part, a little piece of sunshine that we look forward to, and getting that year started off positively. That's always been something that I look forward to in every first day of school, every first week of school, is getting to see the kids again, get to see my coworkers again. And we've been robbed of that, and the kids are getting robbed of that. But again, I don't know that there's any other way to do it if you're going off the data. If you're strictly going by the data and that's driving your decision making, you just got to do what's prudent. I think we're doing that now at Ellis School, which I already told you, North Paulding High School has been on TMZ already. Pictures, you've probably seen the picture. That's her school.
Yeah.
Nobody, maybe one kid in the hallway wearing a mask, and they're shoulder to shoulder, and they're going back live, face to face. Next week, I just found out they will be face to face all week.
Oh, wow.
So they are another neighboring county. Basically, every county around us is face to face. Now, here's what I think is going to happen is those counties are probably going to end up having multiple cases, lots of kids getting sick, faculty getting positive cases, and they're going to have to pivot and switch to virtual in about 2 weeks. So I'm hoping it doesn't happen, but it very well could. So,
all right. Well, here's the deal, Adam. I'll let you know Monday how it went.
You tell me, because I want to know. I want to know mask percentages per student. I want to know if the faculty are wearing masks.
It's 0 since they're going to be behind a screen.
Yeah, let me know what platform are you all using Zoom, or are you using something else?
Yeah, we can use Zoom.
Okay, see, we can't.
All right.
It's going to be interesting, trust me.
All right.
But we have another week of planning to do to figure this out. So
I would have loved another week as well, but that's okay.
Yeah. All right. Well, Brees, it's good to talk to you. Encourage all of our listeners to catch all our other episodes on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and Spotify, and subscribe to those podcasts, or follow, whichever it may be, as well as subscribe to our YouTube channel, Drive Thru Sports with Adam and Paul, and follow us on Twitter at D3 Sports. For Paul Brees, I'm Adam Freeman. You've been listening to Drive Thru Sports with Adam and Paul.